This is the Ohio AgNet, broadcasting from the Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF and Veltima Fungicide, the proven #1 for the toughest corn diseases with long-lasting residual when you need to be confident your fungicide will perform. I'm Joel Norwood, joining you this Tuesday morning. Quite a bit of news to cover, but first, a couple of calendar notes. Don't forget to join us this Friday as our own Dusty Sonnenberg travels to Van Wert County for a stop on the Field Leader Roadshow. It'll be at the farm of Mike and Kendra Heffelfinger. And as always, the Ohio Field Leader Roadshow is sponsored by the Ohio Soybean Council and Soybean Checkoff. And put on your calendars for later this week, the 26th Annual Crawford Antique Farm Machinery Show. That's coming up June 18th through the 20th at the Crawford County Fairgrounds in Bucyrus. Visit the Crawford Antique Farm Machinery Association on Facebook to learn more. Again, the Crawford Antique Farm Machinery Show, 18th through the 20th. And your news feed today delivered to you by Ebert's Field Seeds, delivering proven local seed performance to Ohio farmers. It's time to start planting Ebert's. Call us at 937-473-2521 or visit us online at ebertsseeds.com. Some big regional livestock news announced this week. JBS USA says they're shutting down a beef processing plant in Pennsylvania, plus a value-added facility in Tennessee. That comes as the company looks to streamline operations amid the smallest U.S. cattle herd in more than 70 years. For Ohio producers, it highlights the current challenges facing the beef industry as tight cattle supplies and record-high cattle prices continue to squeeze packer margins. The Pennsylvania facility processed roughly 2,000 head per day and was one of the largest beef plants in the eastern U.S. JBS says their production will shift to other facilities as it continues investing in larger operations in Texas, Georgia, and Iowa. And it is that time of the week for the latest Ohio Crop Progress Report, sponsored by Relentless Ag. Every acre at peak performance. Learn more at relentlessag.com. The latest numbers from USDA says this past week saw 5.4 days suitable for field work. Corn emergence reached 91%, ahead of last week's 75% and the 89% average for this time. Ohio corn condition rated 64% good to excellent. Soybeans 96% planted, up from 85% the week before, and ahead of the 92% 5-year average. 87% of soybeans emerged, which is 4 points below the average. Winter wheat completely headed around the state, 3 points ahead of average, and wheat condition looking good, 64% good to excellent. Now, nationally, wheat is estimated as 27% rated good to excellent, so Ohio doing much better than the national average. Soil moisture staying steady. Top soil moisture rated 66% adequate and 16% surplus, while subsoil moisture just about the same. Again, that USDA report summarized online at ohioagnet.com, sponsored by Relentless Ag. Let's talk weather thanks to Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin checks in.
Sunshine to start your Tuesday here in Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your forecast update. We have a minor disturbance trying to work through Wisconsin and into the Great Lakes region here this morning. And as it does so, I think it throws some clouds toward Ohio. We'll see those clouds at first in northwest Ohio, but I'm not looking for any moisture falling from the clouds until closer to late afternoon. And then overnight tonight, we see this continue to the east and south. Not looking at any more than a few hundreds to a few tenths, coverage around 40% of the Buckeye State, but there will be clouds and moisture trying to emerge. We take a break for Wednesday morning, but a monster storm complex coming out of Iowa and the central Corn Belt will track across the eastern Corn Belt overnight tomorrow night through Thursday. Anywhere from 1/2 to 1.5 inches of rain, potential for strong to severe thunderstorm action. We'll keep an eye on that. We go dry for Friday and Saturday and Sunday before rains come back overnight Sunday night through Monday of next week. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Thank you, Ryan. Our own Dusty Sonnenberg checks in with an update on BASF and ARVA 45Z.
Joining me today is Jeffrey Carver. He is a commercial and technical service manager with BASF Bioenergy. BASF and ARVA Intelligence just announced a new strategic collaboration that enables commercial grain elevators to help farmers and biofuel producers reap the benefits of the 45Z clean fuel production credit. Can you tell us more how this all comes together?
Of course, there's the farmer value opportunity. There's the opportunity for the implementation to have positive impact working through the ag retailer and the agronomist. And of course, the role of the commercial elevator. But the reality of this is it's not about taking a shotgun approach and just scoring every acre out there. It's really having a targeted approach where everybody's working in sync, essentially, from the farm to the agronomist to the elevator, because not every acre is going to need to be scored in order to maximize the value of 45Z for the ethanol plant, which then in turn maximizes potential premiums for the farmer. So it's really, really key for everybody to understand. It's not about having a sustainability platform that goes out and collects data. It's really how is it implemented and how is it managed and monitored throughout the year.
To learn more about this project, check out the full interview with Jeffrey Carver and Ryan Piercy with Arva Intelligence online today at ohioagnet.com. Reporting for the Ohio AgNet, I'm Dusty Sonnenberg.
Ohio State accepting applications for an exciting program. Brianna Smith checks in.
Applications are now open for Ag 1, a personalized leadership development program designed for individuals seeking to elevate their leadership impact in Ohio agriculture. The 12-month cohort-based program is offered through the Ohio State University College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences in partnership with the OSU Leadership Center. Ag 1 provides a personalized leadership journey through assessment, one-on-one coaching, and both in-person and virtual workshops. Participants will focus on building self-awareness, developing leadership skills, and learning how to lead teams and organizations while expanding their professional networks through Ohio agriculture. Applications are open through July 24th. For more information on the program investment and how to apply, visit ohioagnet.com. Reporting for Ohio's Country Journal and Ohio AgNet, I'm Brianna Smith.
Thank you, Brianna. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more farm news here on the Ohio AgNet.
Are you looking for the latest in Ohio agriculture? Well, you can get it all in one place, the Ohio AgNet podcast. Join us as we sit down with farmers, experts, and ag leaders from across the Buckeye State. From the latest news to interviews that matter, we're here to keep you informed and connected. Whether you're in the tractor, the truck, or the shop, we bring the conversation to you. Search Ohio AgNet podcast on your favorite app or find it on Facebook or YouTube. Don't miss a minute of the Ohio AgNet podcast. Subscribe today.
You're listening to the Ohio AgNet. Land buying and selling, no small thing. And our own Ty Higgins says more.
Selling land is much different than selling a traditional home, requiring the right marketing strategy, the right buyers, and an approach tailored to that specific property. Joining us today is Kevin Miller with Oak Ridge Realty and Auction Company to talk about what landowners should know before putting their property on the market. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Selling farmland, recreational land, very different from selling that traditional home, as I mentioned. What are some of the biggest differences landowners should understand before putting property on the market?
The number one thing is the target market. We're targeting specific buyers, whether they're owner-operators or potentially investors. And that's a little different, obviously, in the traditional house where somebody's looking to move into that home. We're marketing here locally, statewide, and then also nationally. So buyers can come from many different areas when it comes to farmland or even recreational land.
You often hear that every piece of land needs its own strategy. What factors determine how you and your team at Oak Ridge Realty and Auction Company markets a property and targets the right buyers?
Yeah, great question. Actually, the location, obviously, with any real estate has a lot to do with the plan as far as marketing the property. The soil type, topographies, tiling, those such things like that. Depends on how many acres are tillable. If we're targeting maybe somebody that's going to utilize that farm for recreation and maybe have a balance of tillable, or are we looking at something that's mostly tillable and then we're looking at a farmer, a owner-operator, or an investor from far away? So definitely the tillable acres and the type of productivity are probably at the top of the list as well.
Let's say someone out there listening and watching, they're thinking about putting that piece of land on the market. Before the landowner even sits down for that first meeting with you and Oak Ridge, what are some of the things they can do to better prepare themselves and that property for sale?
One of the biggest things that we run into today is leasing. A lot of people that come to us have inherited land or something that's been passed down generation to generation, and there's already a tenant farmer on there, and we want to be good stewards of our land and good stewards to the tenants. And so we need to notify those tenants in the correct amount of time. And a lot of people don't know that there's laws here in Ohio that says, hey, we've got to notify these tenants by September the 1st, prior to selling that farm, so that way that the farm's not leased out the following year. So many of our sellers come to us in the fall and they say, hey, I want to sell the farm and, but the farm's already technically leased out for the following year. So those are some of the things that we really look at as leases. We want to make sure that those are cleaned up and that the property's free and clear, ready to go.
So those landowners get those ducks in a row. You meet with the seller for the first time. What are some of the key questions you're coming in with to better understand the property and the seller's goals?
Yeah, goals are really important to us. And what we want to do is find out what the motivation is of the seller. Believe it or not, oftentimes selling the property at top dollar sounds like it would be always the number one motivating factor. But in fact, it's not. And many times, often it's not. So we want to find out what is the motivation behind selling this. Is there a financial need? Is there we've got too many owners here. We've got siblings and we've got people out of state. And so we want to determine what is the motivation behind selling this so we can come up with a plan to obviously meet the seller's goals.
So let's talk about what you guys have on the market right now. How can people find out more about Oak Ridge Realty and Auction Company, and how can they find out more about how to do business with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Website, oakridgelandandfarm.com. That's where you'll see all the farms. We've got several nice offerings right now. We've had a couple in Logan County, Ohio. We have an auction coming up in All-Glaze County, Ohio. And certainly right now in the summertime is usually that slow month. That June and July is typically where you see those sales slow down. But when you get to August and you get to those county fair times, that's when people start looking to start putting that property on the market because those leases are coming up. So you want to go to oakridgelandandfarm.com and let us know that you would like to be on the list, because once we get a farm for sale, there's typically a whole line of people waiting in line to have something like that. So you definitely want to stay in touch.
Good problem to have if you're a seller, and a good problem to have if you're Kevin Miller with Oak Ridge Realty and Auction Company. Appreciate your time, and thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us, Todd.
We'll take a quick commercial break here on the Ohio AgNet and be right back as we talk markets and how things are shaping up overnight.
Ohio farmers, we know summer means long days in the field and plenty of work still to do. And the Ohio AgNet wants to bring lunch to your farm. The Feeding Farmers contest is back this summer, and we'll be choosing farms across Ohio for a visit from the Ohio AgNet, along with free lunch for your farm, family, and crew. Get entered today at ohioagnet.com/feeding farmers. Feeding Farmers is brought to you by Ag Revolution, Paradise Energy Solutions, Tempty, and the Ohio AgNet.
Looking for heavy equipment but don't know where to buy? Purple Wave Auction has you covered. Always online and always no reserve. It's your destination for construction or ag equipment ready to work. We even sell semis, trailers, and fleet equipment for your operation. Best part? It's free to join. Head to purplewave.com. That's purplewave.com. Sign up for a free account and start bidding today. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
You're listening to the Ohio AgNet. Today's market analysis brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to bring a brand new soybean crush facility to Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Learn more about marketing your soybeans with LDC at 574-566-2113. Over to Ryan.
Grain markets started the week off with a bit of a bounce on Monday. At the end of the trading session, we had corn, beans, and Chicago wheat and Kansas City wheat all higher. Minneapolis spring wheat was down. Bean oil was down, following the energy markets just a little bit. And we also saw the oat market down while bean meal was up. What were the stories yesterday? Well, the market is now trying to shift out of paying attention so much to the geopolitical landscape now that there is some kind of a peace agreement in place with Iran, and shifting focus toward the National Ag Statistics Service summer reports and weather. NOPA crush also expected to fall a bit short of expectations, although if you're expecting something and you're also saying it probably will fall short, shouldn't you just lower your expectations? That's the problem with that headline that I saw yesterday. I have here just a little bit. Yesterday, Managed Money bought 1,300 contracts of beans and 900 contracts of soy meal, corn, and wheat as well. I'm Ryan Martin.
Not much to gain from overnight markets as we take a look at those numbers. Brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Online at seedconsultants.com. July corn down a cent to $4.14.5 per bushel as new crop crop. Corn is down half a cent to $4.41 1/4. July soybeans dropping 5 1/4 overnight to $11.14. November soybeans at $11.30 1/4, down 4 1/2 for the new crop. July wheat sitting 4 cents down to $5.85 3/4. September wheat priced at $5.96 1/4 per bushel, a drop of 4 1/4. On the livestock side, June cattle closed Monday up 75 cents to $250.63. September feeder cattle gained $4.98 to $359.53. Hogs down as July fell 88 cents to 96.58 per hundredweight, and milk class 3 trending off by a few cents to 16.40. More farm news, markets, and much more online at ohioagnet.com. I'm Joel Penordwood. Thanks for tuning in to the Ohio AgNet.